So we finally got the finale for the Sweet 16 of the Housewives of Atlanta, and I was underwhelmed. I actually really was underwhelmed. Underwhelmed in the terms of I was expecting a bit more of a closure to some of these storylines. I just felt like everything felt very fast paced. And the next thing is, I also felt like this entire press tour, to put it, where Shamia was basically saying that Brit spoke about her daughter, it left me to the imagination that she said something dark. And what I saw is she spoke about you. I didn't really see what she said about your daughter, unless there was something that was left on the cutting room floor. I don't see the lead up that was basically given to me, where when I saw the episode, I was like, that's all. Like, I'm not condoning what she said, but it was like, I was like, that's all. I don't know if you guys are understand. Like, I was just, hmm. All right, so we saw that Shamia had her show. I must say, Shamia, you have some work to do when it comes on to your performance. I understand you claim that it was been over 20 years that you haven't been on stage, but I felt like if you had a show that was coming on, you should have done some rehearsals or something. So clearly you rehearsed for the dance aspect of it, but you weren't even really dancing that hard. And then the vocals need some work. Now, I'm not saying you can't sing, but the vocals, based on what I saw on the performance, I would say you need some work. It was not necessarily given what I think you thought it was given, and the fact that you had like someone like a Drew in the audience, we all know these persons are going to shade you in their confessionals and stuff. So I felt like it could do some work, but I like the idea of that she was able to, hit back the stage, perform some of her songs that she has been working on, and she looks like she put on an entire show. As I think, I don't remember who said it, like Angela or someone said it, that it felt more like, wow, this feels like a tour, because they maybe thought that she would be singing like one or two songs, but it seemed like she sang a couple of songs. So that was something I was saying, that she did great in basically having the confidence and strength to put on the show and also to perform. But I would say that for future references, trying to rehearse more, especially when it comes on to the vocal cords, yeah, you need some work on that, because you guys love to shade Drew. So I think you guys can receive the shade as well. Of course, we saw Missy Cynthia. She's no longer the moral police. She decided to go backstage and decided to share with Shamia that the previous time when they were at Brit's house, Brit basically brought up the fact that the whole messaging and everything the case is. And we saw where Shamia decided to confront Brit in terms of hearing that she basically saying some stuff. And I must say, Brit to me seems like she's working in overdrive in the ending parts of the season, because prior to Kenya leaving, she was a bit very nitpicky. Like, she's trying to find her mark, she's trying to basically ensure that she has a huge storyline for a season, so she feels more secure in being brought back next season. And then when the whole Kenya of it went down, it's like, to me, she felt like she took a back seat when it came on to her performance for the show. And it seems as if, like, after Grenada and her returning, and we are winding down to the ending parts of the season, it seemed like her performance has amped up. We saw it when it came on to her and Kelly, not agreeing what she said to Kelly, but we saw where she actually, to me, ate Kelly up in that scene. And in this scene again, it felt the same, as if that, okay, she came ready for Shamia. And I think this may be the true Brit than what we were somewhat getting early on in the season, when she felt like she wanted to be more of a knock if you buck, or basically buck in before anyone knock. And I felt like this feels more her zone. It doesn't seem like she's performing, doesn't seem like she's trying to get one liners in or something to go viral or be meme worthy. It felt more like she actually was trying to just have a conversation and, of course, provide the same response, I guess. I don't know if someone spoke to her behind the scenes. I don't know if she just realized that these ladies are just not feeling her. So she needs to, dial it back a bit. And yeah. Now, when it came on to her saying that, well, she did went out with them, it showed on the screen that this hangout basically with Kelly and Britt was basically, I believe, prior to she having to sit down with Portia. And I'm trying to remember if it is from the early parts of the season when they all went out, the three of them, before it was Shamia. You remember that part in the season? I wonder if it was before that. But I felt like what Britt was saying that Shamia said, I felt like it's something that was already shared between Angela and Drew. So I felt what she was saying, it feels like, didn't we already discuss this? Didn't we already pass this? And for Portia to really go into her feelings, if this was prior to when you guys actually sat down and talk, I don't see the reason. And I'm not sure if Portia even asked Britt the timeline when this happened, because if me and someone had issues and we decided to have a sit down about what was shared and we moved past it, I'm not supposed to still basically get angry if I heard that this person was saying some stuff prior to when we had the sit down. So it was confusing to me as to what is really, because as I said, this felt unfinished, this finale, because I'm still uncertain as to what exactly caused the split between Portia and Shamia, because it can't really be over the fact that she heard from Brit that Shamia was saying some stuff. Like, it just does not make sense to me for you to guys, hopefully in the reunion, maybe something happened off camera, off season, but it was a bit confusing to me as to what is really the big rift. Now, her saying to Shamir, basically talking about the whole shots and if her daughter was really sick and everything. Now, that is something I would say to Brit, that was something you did not need to bring up. Like, you shouldn't have bring, like, the fact that you know that this child tends to be sickly. I don't think it's something you should have basically insinuate that Shamia was lying or basically performing to say her daughter is sick, because I don't see what mother would basically want to lie about something like that, especially when the child is known to be sickly. So I don't see why you would insinuate that it's something she basically did when you don't have proof of that. You're just observing from a social standpoint or social media standpoint where she went to Miami after Grenada, and okay, but yes, I think that's more like kitchen table talk. Like, you may sit with your husband and someone and say, like, her child was sick or whatever the case is. Can you believe it's Shamia, where she basically just, instead of going home straight to the child, she went to Miami? That's something I think you should talk about. For you to come and basically insinuate that she was lying for what I don't know why she would need to lie, it's just, to me, a bit too far. And I don't think that was necessarily necessary at this point. But yeah. I think then Shamia stated as well that she pops pills, and we heard last week through Claudia that allegedly that basically we see where Brit tends to be someone who tends to pop a pill or two. And we saw where Shamia brought it up again, and basically I'm now to assume that Shamia was maybe the one who messaged Claudia to say that, well, she was offering persons in Grenada pills, because she brought it up in the scene and she did stated that, well, I seen you done stuff like this, so it's not necessarily an insinuation. But and then Shamia decided to walk away from the conversation. We all see where she got that from. Portia. Um so we then get to where we believe it was the sit down. I didn't really want to get in because it just feels based on what's currently happening. Where we saw Drew and Ralph had their sit down, and I think they were trying to come to some understanding to basically be cordial or be whatever in terms of for the kids and stuff. But we all see that did not last long because we all saw what played out on social media. So for me, felt like this scene was just a throwaway scene because it's not like they are actually doing what they were seeing. I think it was just pretty much for camera at this point. The next scene is, I believe we saw where we had Drew and apparently it was a flashback scene. I don't know why it was a flashback scene, but we saw where Drew and Angela went to meet up with the guy. For what I don't know, because I think you're giving this dude more camera time than he should have gotten. Because I think what is happening with these shows is like you make these side non-mic persons come on to a scene to create drama, and then you cast team to keep entertaining the drama and bringing them back to get further details when at the end of the day these persons are just necessarily trying to get some camera time and you guys are willingly giving them this. So for you to do a whole scene, meet up with him, whether it was shown or not, but the fact that camera and production have to come in to do all of this, I think this was just too much energy. And then we saw where it was at now, the event for Charles and Angela. They honored Portia, which was really nice. And after that, I see where Angela decided to make her speech. And this is where Angela kind of lost me because I was like, why would you bring this dude to a scene or an event that's being hosted by you and your husband? Clearly, your husband was not aware of this. And clearly, we see how your husband gets from 0 to 100 real quick. Why would you bring him to this event to confront the ladies? I get what you were trying to do in terms of basically having him come on camera. Hence why you were telling Charles, no, you're trying to clear his name because you wanted him to come on camera to say that, well, someone paid me to tell this lie. And the person who was allegedly Phaedra. But I could not understand why would you use your events, just like how you guys said, why would Kenya have used her event to do what she did? Why would you use your event, especially with your husband not even aware of this, for him to come to confront these ladies? And again, giving this dude more camera time. Like this is the finale, and for you to bring him in to basically confront these ladies, and the fact that she was going by through Kelly and saying, well, because I was like, at one point, I was like, Angela, just get to it. Just get to what you found out because you're bringing in Kelly into this when you allegedly found out it's not Kelly. Then you decided to turn your focus to Brit, where towards our the viewers, it's not Brit. Then only to say, oh, you have the guy to bring in, and then pretty much it was allegedly Phaedra. It was to me like I don't understand what she was trying to do, and this is where Angela lost me because I felt like it feels like you're trying to create a moment, especially knowing that this is the finale. And it felt like something that Angela did not have to do because she has been giving us good moments throughout the season. So it felt like for this specifically, it felt like this was not needed, Angela. You did not need to actually go as far as to be bringing this guy to it. You should have just said that me and Drew met up with the guy. The guy said XYZ. The producers will do their little flashback. And then you in the scene, you tell the ladies this is what you found out, whatever the case is. And the person said it was Phaedra allegedly. That would have been a bit more easier to watch than you bringing this guy and creating this drama. It felt flat, and I'm like, if I was the ladies, I was like, girl, like, what are you doing? Because your own husband now, and the two of you are kind of getting into it, and I was like, it was totally uncalled for, and it's more to me. I'm not even sure if these two are going to be in the next season. Like, I love Angela, but based on how Charles was like, take my mic off, like, it's only so much someone can take, especially where if it's not your ball game, this is not what you really are into. You're just supporting your wife, and then if this is what is going to bring to the whole marriage and the drama of it all, I don't see where he wants to continue. Like even if she's brought back, I could see where he takes the back seat more like how Shamia's husband takes the back seat because it feels like the first season y'all are on, here we come with the bullshit where we're talking about cheating. And I'm sure this is something they've been through in their marriage prior to coming on to the show. So for you guys to be coming on and then your own wife is not even bringing the same person who came with the supposed bullshit. It's like you are now somewhat turning into these ladies now entertaining or fueling this drama. And I think this is something where Angela needs to be careful with what she does, because you don't want to lose your marriage over a show, and you don't want where you have your husband showing up for scenes and interviews and stuff like that. You don't want it to turn around where he literally either says you can't do the show anymore, or he literally doesn't want to participate in the show anymore, and then you're just left on an island pretty much like Shamia, where you don't necessarily have your husband really like that in the show. And this is what I think Housewives is missing, where we have these husbands, as they say, they don't get paid, where they're coming in and they're not able to support their wife because the ladies always come for their marriage or trying to come with some rumors or something like that. And I think that's what's making the show get a bit, repetitive. Like it's like the same thing over and over. Couple comes in, everybody else is single, and let's attack the marriage because we want her to be single as well. But at the same time, let's say we don't want them to be single. We support marriages and we care for marriages, but honestly speaking, our DNA is tear families apart. So I did not like that scene. I think Angela could have handled it better. We then see where Shamia again and Britt got into it, where she brought up the whole threatening with guns, and I think this is where the ladies literally could see where they necessarily did not fully side with Brit when it came on to that, rightfully so, because she started the threat with the whole gun thing and then decided to take the backseat victim approach when Kenya retaliated. So I could see where, especially like with Shamia, they are frustrated with her behavior throughout the season after Kenya left, and then for her to act as if like she's so much more a calm zen individual. So I could see where Shamia bringing up the whole you threaten people with pistols and stuff like that. Like I was not really, because I really don't care for Brit. I don't know why persons online, and I think it's just typical online. When someone really don't care for someone, it's like you're going to have a crowd of people who wants to act as if like they support this person when really and truly you support them because no one really cares for them. But that was literally the finale. The reunion, we saw the trailer again. Season 16 to me, I just look on season 16. Like the only reason why season 16 seemed interesting is because of the drama that went down between Brit and Kenya, and we were all anticipating to see what led up to that. And once we saw the lead up and the aftermath, I personally was like, okay, cool. The show is cute. It was better than last season, but for a finale, I felt like I needed more. And I didn't think I really got more. Based on the trailer, I felt like I was going to get more. And then when I saw the episode, I was like, that's it. That's all y'all have. And then we saw a flash forward to Portia. Now she's now able to live in her home. And we all know current day now she's finally divorced and she got her prenup based on her agreement. But yeah, that was the Housewives of Atlanta season finale for me. Let me know your thoughts, what you thought about the actual finale. Did you enjoy it? Did you think you needed more as well? Did you feel like any of these stories really were fully wrapped up? Let me know, guys, in the comment section. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.